Sure.
Okay.
And the other thing I found out, actually, sorry to go back to it, but the list I was looking at didn't run catcher. Like, I'm only running 2 in this, but I thought some number of catcher would be correct, just for defensive catchers.
I saw a Magnezone Eels deck that was playing, from Jay Horner, I think, no less, that was playing like 17 Lightning Energy and no catcher, no John Arm. I was just like, what?
But why though?
Alright, let's see if this ends up working out. Jury's out. We will see. What would you like?
Tails?
Yep, seems good.
Not as explosive as starting this end, so we'll just devour it one.
Okay, that one is plus power. Alright. We will draw. Let's go for Pokegear. Does exactly what it wants to do. We'll grab Collector. So that's going to be our supporter use here.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do maybe have to be slightly careful about the way this one goes, but it's how much can we afford to remove, and how much of the mill is going to matter. Right, well, this is always happening. We're definitely getting Zekrom, that much is for sure. Yeah, it is kind of interesting. It's like, how many more do I want to grab here? Probably one more Dynamo makes sense.
I know my game, I collected for 1 Totodile.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of just leaving it there, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's probably correct to leave it there. So that to the discard, Lightning on the Dynamo, and we will go for the Thunder Wave. And hit it, alright. This will be the... Oh, I wish we had the full heal now because paralysis, but, you know.
Catcher and the other Dynamo?
Sure.
Pass.
Okay, well, at least the paralysis goes away for you, so there is that. That is a normal metal energy which is on here. Yeah, it's a duller sheen on this one, so...
Yeah, the special energy icon is based off the HGSS art. I tried to make them as different as I could, but limited art choices.
Yep, this is gonna get tricky, but I kinda have to go for it here. I think we might, if I get lucky, we might actually be able to win this turn. So we're gonna go for it. We're gonna go Sage. I need like 2 particular cards, I think, off of this to get it. And I actually got it. Wow, okay. Yeah, because I will just show you the idea then. We have switch, I have an energy there. There is a lightning in my discards here, so we will go electric, dynamotor to the eel, bench play that. Junk on my last 2 for that plus power you milled at the start, and switch for the 60.
It's doing it with the electric just to show off.
I mean, I couldn't actually do it with the Zekrom because I didn't have the energy for it, so... right, I didn't attach to the Zekrom turn 1, so...
Well, I expected a double evolve and then charge up that way.
I only got one lightning out of the Sage, so yeah.
Yeah, what's the miscard energy then? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't have a lightning discarded, so you are getting shockingly consistent openings with that here. Okay, we have one. What would you want?
Heads.
Not this time. Unfortunately, I'm not too keen on the starter for this one, but we'll see how it goes. Let's go for the Pokegear again. See what we can do. Yep. Grab the collector. So yeah, that's going to be supporter 1 here for sure. So I just seen with the rest of the hand how I want this to go down. Ooh, that's a weird prize set. I mean, I'm currently not using the Pokemon TCG stuff either, Palmo King, but I don't know if Psy would want them for his nephew. Any codes that you're willing to part with?
He's already getting
It's already
100
getting.
at the end of this month.
Okay, then I think we'll probably be alright, but we appreciate the generous offer for it. Let's grab...
There's 2 ETBs and the 2 booster boxes we're grabbing.
Nice.
They did separate ETBs for this one, Violet and Scarlet.
Aye, Silver Tempest ones. Yeah, you got it. You... wait, no, you gave the Silver Tempest ones to me, didn't you?
Did I? I thought I...
Maybe.
didn't.
I don't remember. No, yeah, because Crown Zenith was the first ones you didn't give
No,
me.
Crown Zenith. Yeah, Crown Zenith.
Do I want the third thing here? Yeah, but I'm not going to bench it immediately. We'll take Zekrom. It's probably going to be needed because, yeah, Shockers, there's 2 Dynamo on the bench here. A little bit annoying that I don't have the right one here, but we will attach Lightning to the Kyurem and that will be turnover. Not a massive fan, but yeah, because that's pretty much why.
Special Metal.
Yep.
Pokemon Collector.
Yep. Yep.
Pokegear 3.0.
Yep. Yep, seems good.
And we'll devour for 4.
Alright, down goes Lightning, Collector, Catcher, and Junkan. Okay. Could be better, could be worse. I think we'll live with that. Right, so I think here is where Zekrom does have to go down. I do have an eel in hand, so we will Dynamo to Zekrom. Catcher into Cobalion. I think that's got to happen no matter what here. It's just it's frustrating because I don't really know the better option from here. I think I know this is playing with fire. I realize I'm gonna have to just do the plus power, and I think I'm gonna have to Juniper here because it's between Juniper and N, and I'm like, I think the Juniper is gonna be the play I have to make here because I've got to try and get the other stuff established first. I know how dangerous it is, but I do not think we have that much of a choice here, if I'm being honest. We will attach water to the active and outrage for 30. Yeah, DNA's like he would do the same thing. Yep, makes sense.
Dang, we're good at hitting those switches off to counter those catchers today.
Yeah, it's all good.
Devour.
Yep. So down goes water, double water, electric, and double electric. Wow. Okay, that's quite the set there. Okay. I think we can probably still make something work out of this. Again, this is just so dicey no matter what I do, but I think realistically, okay, what is probably best here? Yeah, Glaciate might be best. It's like you don't take any damage on the active because you've got Eviolite and Special Metal. But
Right. Just making sure that I'm up to date on what
yeah,
I potentially need.
Because it's either that or I go for the Bolt Strike, which is dangerous as well, but I think is reasonable. Yeah, it's probably going to put more pressure on here if I do that. Lightning active, so I can pay 2 to retreat, because you didn't mill any lightning energy, which is annoying. Go there, second electric down, so we'll double Dynamotor to the Zekrom. Play the switch, and Bolt Strike. I know you've got twins, but it's like, I think this is the best bet that I have in general here.
Gotta take a prize at some point.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like Glaciate could be good, but Glaciate's also really, really slow here, so yeah.
Revive.
Yep.
Twins.
Yep.
You're thinking, of course, that if Combine gets set up, that you could, glaciating twice, then retreat dead.
Mm.
You got a very awkward board, and you got.
The current setup that I have means I can take enough prizes before Devour kills me. Is the thing. It's like it's gonna be really close, but if I don't play anything else down, I can go for enough like Bolt Strike / Outrage to thingy this, because there's no extra attaches on board, and that was an attach for turn, right? So there's yeah, because it was special mana that was on originally, right? So it's like that was the attach for turn, which means I do not have to necessarily fear the Cobalion getting set up beforehand, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, we'll Devour for 4.
Yep. So down goes Collector, Lightning, Sage, and Eviolite. Okay. Yeah, because that's the real thing. It's like, because I can just still Bolt Strike here, and then Outrage gets the kills from here on out, right? Is really what we're looking at. So we will Dynamotor onto the Electric, and yeah, we'll Bolt Strike. Yeah, Zekrom is one of the quote-unquote better matchups when it comes to Durant for this sort of reason, but it's still scary.
And
yep. Well, there's the other reason I don't want to play stuff, is because now you've just put more cards in my deck than what I had before. So that helps out as well. And this is why I didn't want to do the Glaciate thing, because I think that would have been too slow.
Gotcha in the Kyurem.
Yep.
And Devour for 4.
Yep. So down goes Pecom, Eviolite, Kyurem, and Tynamo. Alright. Seems good to me. Draw. Yeah, so we don't have lightnings in the discard yet. That's fine. Junkarm, Pitch, Lightning, and Collector. Grab ourselves that switch. So we'll use the switch to the Zekrom, Dynamotor to the other Electric, and yeah, Outrage for the knockout here.
Junkarm, Lost Remover, Eviolite.
Yeah, at this point Eviolite doesn't do anything, so yep.
Revive. Twins.
Yep.
I want to get want to get this. Attach metal energy.
Mm-hmm.
Junk arm. Pokegear. Switch.
Yep. Yep.
Bring in the gear in.
Uh-huh.
Devour for 4.
Yep, so down goes N, Sage, Switch, and Pots. Okay. N would have been helpful, but that's fine. Yeah, Junk Arm, get rid of Zekrom, and Pokegear will grab the Switch. It's pretty much the best bit to do. Switch back to the Zekrom, and yeah, we'll Outrage for knockout. Not really much reason to do anything else right now. Oh, okay. Well, that's 2 more cards out of my deck, so I guess that's kind of fitting. As soon as lag does not stop me from doing the thing.
Junk arm, discarding hammer. Haunt.
Yep. You can't take twins with that.
Yeah.
It's okay, it's okay.
I have to grab the one next to it.
I know. That's just why I'm I thought that would be the case, but I'm just making sure. The gear, okay. Yep.
Is there a better choice here?
That hasn't gone back into hand yet, so it's allowed to be taken back as far as I'm concerned.
No, I need to get the thing. We'll play the Pokegear.
Okay.
That helps.
Okay. Yep.
Bring back in the Kira.
Yep.
This is my only shot at the moment.
Understandable. Yep. And I'm assuming that's the end of turn. Okay. Right.
I can't attack or anything.
Yeah, I should have realized. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 10 in deck. Energy Surge. Grab out Lightning.
Oh, it's a 2 retreat. Okay.
Yeah, it's a 2 retreat. So we'll attach. We'll pay the 2 to retreat to the Zekrom, Dynamo to the Lightning back to the Kyurem, and yeah, it'll be an outrage from here. Yeah.
No, I should play this first.
Yeah. Go for it. Okay, where's the energy coming off of?
Take it off the Kyurem.
Okay.
I could still drag it in.
That's true, that is true. Yep. The end
And-
to one and pray. Yep.
Nah, can't do.
You are right in a way. I mean, even if this flipped, I actually drew one of my energy that's left. I had 3 energy in deck, so it's just top deck Bianca. Yeah, it would have been great. What would my next top deck have even been? Yeah, Dynamo not doing anything.
I was in
that was
longer than
close.
I had any right to be.
Fair. I mean, that is just kind of how the deck thing is. I was half expecting the hammers bit off of it to come a little bit earlier to try and stunt this. I know why it didn't in a way, but
Well, it felt pointless to not be taking if it wasn't hitting waters. It felt pointless.
I can understand that. I mean, especially by the time I'd done 2 bolt strikes, so like you would have had to have hit double hammer minimum
triple.
here, right? Yeah, the triple would have been ideal. But yeah, I can understand the logic behind that. I hate that I had to start this thing because it's the only like thing I really don't want to bench in this matchup. Like, it seems weird, but Kiram honestly isn't very good against the Ant deck as is. So I was just like, I really don't want to have this down if I can avoid it. I only play 2 of them, as we will showcase over here. And yeah. Oops.
The only thing that caught me out was a lack of twins chaining.
I mean, kind of, but like twins chaining is awful. This,
It means I'm only getting 1 card that I need, and sometimes I need more than 1 card.
Especially if you've already got like another supporter you want to play anyway. Twins chaining really isn't all it's cracked up to be with that, because yeah, you get exactly 1 card for your coming from behind supporter, right? And then you have to wait until next turn to do the same thing again, and yeah,
Cyrus is not.
No, it's. Yeah, it's just not. I don't think that's really where we want to go with most situations with twins anyway, because you need more than just 1 card per turn off it, which is a shame.
I think I did as well as I could into Zekrom being active that early.
Yeah. I mean, I know from my own testing that like pure ZekEels has got a pretty damn good matchup against Durant for the most part. That wasn't why I played this. This was like I was looking. Funnily enough, I was looking for a HS-NVI list earlier because I had heard apparently it did pretty well in like the winning senior cities and whatnot, and it sounded cool, and HS-NVI is something that I said I was kind of interested in because it looks like it was just about there. Eels giving it the acceleration it would need to just go retreat and then Dynamotor back to it, right, so you can keep doing Giga Impacts between 2 of them. Seemed pretty cool. Couldn't find that, but I did find a tourney report on WordPress from 2020 tournament using the 2012, like the stuff here, that had this at the 2nd place for the stuff, and I was like, okay, this seems like an interesting twist on the matter, right? Because yeah, it's ZekEels, but it's ZekEels that aims to glaciate first, which is a very different idea to what it normally does, right? And I thought, that's cool, and at least it's different from what we've shown, and I didn't get to play ZekEels last round anyway, so, you know, I thought I might as well, because it's one of the few things that I could bring that isn't just like Chandelure Valplume or something stupid like that, that is actually different from what we've seen in the last, since like Call of Legends and whatnot. Because we really have gone through just about everything in isolation, right? Like, I could have brought Magnezone Eels or something, but we've already seen plenty of Magnezone lists. There was a Reshi Flosion with, like, Kingdra was something I was kind of looking at. It's probably just clunkier than regular stuff that way, but it's also not really dissimilar from what we've already seen. Yeah, Yanmega was seen even just last week, not even last week on, well, it'll be last week in YouTube videos, but it was shown on Wednesday, and yeah, Yanmega Corners is just very similar to what stuff we've already seen. It is an interesting format, and there's a lot of different ways you can build the decks, which is really cool, but we have kind of already shown basically everything possible, I think, at this point, in one way, shape, or form.
Left, I think, if anyone wants to Warprime that up.
Yeah, that was going to be the next thing I would have bought, I'll be honest with you.
I was thinking about it, but decided on building the Huron instead.
Yeah. Yeah, I almost built Huron for Alligator because that would have also been something potentially different off it, but I could not be bothered building that one up, I'll be honest. And this just looked more interesting when I actually found out about this, so it's like, huh, you know, Dynamotor actually isn't necessarily that bad for the stuff here. You get the extra 1 like cost on it for it, and you can just use a water for Zekrom's Bolt Strike anyway, so it's like, this doesn't actually sound that bad. Glaciate kind of fixes a lot of the math that Zekrom has trouble with, right? I added a plus power into the list from the original, but yeah, it's like Zekrom's 120 is often just shy of taking out the other big things in the format. And 1 Glaciate is all you need to fix that, so... And if you can get more, then that's even more of a bonus, right? I guess it's also a more direct out to the likes of Donphan and Landorus than what Tornadus is, right? Because I mean, Tornadus still is a little bit sketchy into Donphan, to be honest with you. Like, it can two-shot it, but there's a lot of movement of everything going around, and it means you've got to play DC anyway. Might as well just play the water energy at that point, because, you know, at least that's something you can search with Energy Search, right? Energy Search is the card I should have played instead of the 5th Grass in my Ferrozian Landorus deck last round, by the way. I realised that as I was like building this today. I should have played 1 Energy Search instead of the 5th Grass, and functionally would have done the same thing of making sure I had Grass when I needed it, but also the fighting for the Landorus. So yeah, I underestimated that a little bit. We'll probably see an Energy Search in a lot of the Eel decks that we can show off as we go on. Yeah, like, I don't want to... I mean, we can still play if you want, I don't really know what else I have that's different. Because, like I was saying, the Haxorus thing I didn't end up getting fully fleshed out. And it's like, yeah, VVV or the Yamega Corner thing, technically. But I don't know if we want to show off Vanillix. Do we need another Warcrime in this one, or, you know? Do we want to wait potentially on that actually until we have the Warp Point Vanillix in as well? Because that is next set. I don't know. The whole.
It's something other than Mewtwo, I guess.
I mean, you could punch Mewtwo in the face with it and paralyze it constantly. I guess that'd be very funny.
Like,
yeah,
I was thinking maybe there's a Mew box deck that exists using in Dark Explorers with the Empoleon plus the Vanillux, but there's like a water build. But I just don't hit Dice Darkrai, which is unfortunate considering Empoleon's timing.
Yeah, Empoleon itself I don't think immediately folds to Darkrai, but yeah, it's might be a bit awkward. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what a Mew deck playing water is going to be able to do about it.
Yeah. DNA's like, I'm biased because I have run both of those decks, so I'm not answering that. Fair enough. I mean, again, this is only like half an hour in or something. We could if you want to, but I'm not going to force it considering it is another item lot deck, and I did kind of, you know, play one of those last week as well. That was the other thing. I couldn't think of like a lot of different decks that I could run that we haven't done something with that didn't also just involve Vileplume. Right? You know, like
a lot of the bullshit in the format is just something big plus Vileplume.
Yeah, yeah. I like that there's a good diversity of options with the stuff though, because everything from, you know, this sort of energy acceleration in here to the Reshiram stuff for with Ember or Typhlosion, both of them are still decent. The Vileplume decks obviously have their place, but they're not the only thing you can do. I have a feeling most of those probably suffer a fair bit to Durant, even though you can't like do the item thing with that. They can also be very slow to set up, and no 4 against that kind of deck that needs specific parts out can be pretty good, right? So, you know, that can also potentially be an issue for them. And yeah, even everything to just the straightforward basic list that I played last time as well. It's like there's something for pretty much everyone in this format if you want to, despite the small card pool. I don't want to betray the fact of this format is actually a lot more open than it maybe looks in a way. It's just that a lot of the decks are iterations on stuff that we have had to play for 4 rounds now, I would say, because it's this. Emerging Powers was pretty similar, Black and White, and Majestic Dawn Call of Legends stuff. We still play quite a few of the Call of Legends, you know, like Triumphant Call of Legends cards within that format as well. So yeah, I don't know. It's fun though, despite only having like maybe 140 odd Pokemon that are worth considering, Prevos included.
Yeah, I'm just going through the list now. It's like BVV, the stupid Donk deck, or the stupid Mime Junior deck.
Yeah, which I have not built either of the latter two for relatively obvious reasons.
Or the stupid Sharpedo deck now with Victini.
Yeah. Do we want a 41% chance
Okay.
to like ruin the opponent's hand setup?
How about we have a stupid Victini deck, but with Bascule?
It's got a 15 out of 16 chance of surviving at that point. Or you could just play Eviolite and it survives every time anyway. You know?
Yeah, I know, it doesn't sound worth it.
No, I know. I'm glad I at least got to show something slightly different with this, though. Even if the Glaciate wasn't going to pan out in that matchup, it could have, but I think it still would have been too slow, because you would have had minimum 3 Devours off. If you put special energies or even Eviolite like anywhere on that board, I wouldn't have been able to take that many prizes at that point, so I think I had to just kind of go for the Bolt Strike and just take the trades as is. I was like, if we're in a reasonable enough spot, all things being equal, I should win this exchange. So, because your ends get weaker in terms of my hand size, your ends get weaker as we go as well. They get stronger in other ways though, but yeah.
One thing that's confusing me now though is, if Kyurem isn't actually that good against the ants, why is Kabalion in this list? And not something that can actually, with free, like a baby, and not something...
That is a good question.
I thought Kabalion was just there because otherwise Spread eats this. But Spread doesn't
Spread
eat this.
it can eat this. If you don't find your special metals or your Eviolites.
A good number of them though.
Could it
Doesn't
be?
mean you're always finding them.
Yeah, I mean that is a thing. We have what 4N, 2 Judge, and because Spread isn't going to give you Twins access easily. It might just be that you need that pressure quicker. Or it could just be like Vanillux as well. Although I guess you don't necessarily want... Oh no, you'd build up for Ironbreaker at that point. Kabalion is mostly to stop aggressive attackers like Zekrom destroying you. I mean, yeah, that is reasonable. The only reason that I won this one as I did is because I didn't give you the chance to get Kabalion with energy on. Because if I'd have been like a turn slower or something and you'd have attached to the Kabalion instead, I wouldn't have been able to do what I did there. So
It's just a big bee that takes the same energy as a Durant. Okay. That makes
yeah,
sense.
and there really aren't any other options when it comes to that side of things.
Yeah, I can see why you'd use it. It's a pretty good choice for dealing with setup mons anyway, because energy press is pretty efficient at that point.
Yeah.
I was doing my best to try and lock that Kyurem inactive.
Yeah, you catch it tapping up like all the times. That's why I was really just like, oh, do I have to start with this? Like, come on, you know. It's I would have been totally fine starting Dynamo. Obviously, I'd have been happy enough starting Cleffer because yeah, this deck plays too Cleffer just because there's like 2 reasons for it. 0 retreat pivot is one, and more importantly, the 0 energy is actually the important thing for it here as well. I nearly put Manaphy in here and just like played Energy Switch or something for that, but I looked at it going, if I have like Cleffer down and I can get the Cure and Water Energy turn 1, there's a pretty good chance that I'd be able to Glaciate turn 2, right? Get a Water Energy out, I've got Energy Search and 6 of the things in here, so it's not that unreasonable. And yeah, I can't afford to attach to a guy to allow that to happen. So Cleffer unfortunately was the thing that made the most sense in here, and I kind of agreed with its inclusion by the end, because Manaphy, it's not that it gets less cards, it's that it takes an energy to do it. And that's unfortunately not the way this deck is wanting to play. We are capable of getting turn 2 Glaciated in this deck, and takes a lot, but that's why we've got free Pokegear in here as well, because it's like Pokegear trying to find Collector, and it found it in both games that we played. So you know, it's like that's what it's for, is to try and find your Collector for your turn 1 supporter. And you really want to get that bench established, get the energy down on the Kyurem you're supposed to be attacking with, just not into ants, right? And yeah, go from there. So yeah, It was funny because I showed this to DNA earlier, and DM's going, I found the spice for today, and he's like, this ZekEels with Kyurem, this doesn't look too spicy. 6 water energy. Oh. So it's like, yeah, that's where we're going. Yeah. Right. Well, as short as this is gonna be in terms of actual like battle content and stuff, honestly, I think it's fair considering what we have. I mean, Vanillux I think could still be at least looked at next round. DNA has an interesting proposal for the first couple of sets of this EX format, however, which I want to get some opinions on just before we close out the YouTube side of this. One round with the Mewtwo and Darkrai specifically allowed with the sets that they're in, and then one round afterwards where only those are banned for you know, these two sets until we get to 2013.
Similar later as well when we get to more modern stuff.
Yeah, because when we get to the point where, like, you know, it's mostly Sword and Shield, to be honest, because even in many of the later formats, like, I know certain ones are very EX dominated, but they're not always like mindless basic type decks, and honestly, Night March is still really good in Gen 6. That's the sort of counter argument. There's still 1 prizes in Gen 6. Gen 7's got a whole 1 prize Malamar shit going on later on, and plenty of other bits too. It's really Generation 8 that went off the rails with most of the stuff that way. But even then, later on, we could still consider, like, yeah, a multi-prize and a 1 prize only sort of bit. We don't have to blitz through all of the stuff, right? We can take our time.
We were saying last week that apart from those two, the EX didn't look too bad for the format.
Yeah, they really don't. I personally feel like we only need to do this for the next 2 sets, and then after that, they're actually totally fine, and Darkrai's kind of needed for its support roles as well in decks later on. But I kind of feel if we're gonna do something like that, it's gonna be for the next 2 sets basically. And yeah, Mewtwo and Darkrai are far and away the best of the EXs that we get in those sets.
I want to play this.
Yeah, I know, it'd be neat. But because yeah, this thing is cool. But yeah, that's a potential proposition to the DNA has that, you know, DM'd me earlier, and if you'd want to go for something like that, we could. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Certainly making me think about it. I wonder what it would actually.
It gives us a reason to. It gives us like a thing to show, like CMT and stuff like, because I know that's one that was really wanted to be played and stuff. It gives a reason to like show that sort of deck, but then also not just have like absolutely every single deck be just Darkrai and Mewtwo for the entire bit, right? We get to show off some other cards that are good, but maybe don't necessarily have like the biggest game against those two in particular, because they really were just so far above everything else.
My face clean this up so I can bring out next set and have a look at it. Yeah, next set. Let's have a look at it.
Yeah, sure. Let's add the marker there for YouTube stuff. Thank you very much for watching. We will be doing a bit more on the stream here, but yeah, a little quick one for it, but that is what Durant does. So yeah, it won many a cities. And yeah, we'll hop in next time for